From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is a severe weather alert.
And good evening, everybody. Meteorologist Taylor Plott here alongside Chief Meteorologist Fred Gossage and Meteorologist Chase Wilson. It is now 7 o'clock. We are still watching our storms that are off to the southwest. We do have a confirmed tornado on the ground here that has moved through the New Albany, Mississippi area. That will get towards Booneville, Mississippi, and if it does continue on its current track, it will eventually get into parts of Tishomingo County. We have several minutes to keep watching that, so we'll see if it keeps either strengthening or weakening. We'll just have to watch that closely. Until then, we still have no active tornado warnings or severe thunderstorm warnings for our area, just flash flood warnings here, and this is going to most likely continue to be the case for the next several hours. We'll continue to get more rainfall in some of these flood-prone areas, and we'll get more flash flood warnings downstream eventually. But still tornado watch in effect here for all of our southern Tennessee counties. That goes until 9 p.m. with the exception of Hardin County and Tishomingo County in Mississippi. That goes should expire right now, but I imagine they extended it because it's still on the map here. Chase, click on one of the counties, see if they extended the time on that.
Yes, 12 a.m.
To 12 a.m. Okay, so they moved that to 12 a.m. Good. And this still goes to 9 p.m., but that will also be extended at some point too. And there will be a downstream watch later on, probably sooner rather than later, for parts of northern Alabama, and that will include parts of western Alabama most likely. But again, our main focus right now are these storms that are coming out of northeastern Mississippi, so let's dive right on into it. Again, we have a confirmed tornado on the ground here that is just to the northeast of New Albany. Storm spotters are on that thing, and they're reporting multiple power flashes. And this continues to be a potentially dangerous situation here for Pleasant Ridge as it makes its way on off towards the northeast. Extreme velocity couplet right here. What's the CC drop? Is it still, did it come back on it?
It doesn't look like it's quite there yet, but I bet you over the next couple.
Yeah, there's a little bit of lowering right here, and right here too.
In
so
a couple
it's
spots. Well, let's go to, so probably right up here.
Yeah, probably right up in here near, is that Kewanville? Kewanville.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. And we'll make its way on off toward the northeast towards Pleasant Ridge. So let's give a storm track on this, Chase. Let's take it out to where it can get potentially into parts of Tishomingo County. This is moving northeast at right around 45. Let me actually look at the warning real quick. I believe it's around 45 miles per hour. If I can find the initial tornado warning, there it is right there. 35. They have it slowed down a little bit. So bump that.
Let me bump that down.
Bump that down to like 35 to 38, something like that.
You're slow it down a little bit there.
So this will, on its northern end of things, it will get towards Burnsville at 8 o'clock. So you've got about an hour, 55 minutes to an hour potentially before this possible tornado continues to make its way on off towards the northeast. It's confirmed right now, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be confirmed over here. But it's something that we'll have to watch very closely to see if this supercell continues to maintain its strength and be able to continue to produce that tornado risk. So again, it will eventually get into parts of Tishomingo County downstream, Burnsville probably right around 8 o'clock. Booneville, that's kind of the next bigger city that this could impact. That's going to be right around 7:33 p.m. So if you know anybody who lives in the Booneville area, give them a heads up. The tornado warning polygon does not get into the city of Booneville, but it probably will in a downstream warning if this does continue to exhibit the rotation that it has.
For the next hour, extended range.
Perfect. So this goes extended range for the next hour. This is our fast track system, and this will move potentially through Tishomingo County. And again, if it follows this general trajectory, it will move into parts of Hardin County and Wayne County. So we're talking about the Waterloo area in Lauderdale County, potentially around 7:39, Walnut Grove around 7:43, along with Cypress Inn close to 7:50. Lutz around 7:50, Clifton Junction at 7:54, and the Collinwood community, or I should say the city of Collinwood, right around 7:57. Again, this is a long-term storm track here with this potentially long track supercell that has a confirmed tornado on the ground. You see that spinning? What's up?
This
Was the
motion was, hold on, the motion was incorrect.
I was kind of wondering about that. That was
scratch the times a minute. Hold on.
Yeah,
I have those later times actually over here
Go ahead.
with
We'll
40.
get you back.
go ahead.
Just those last latter few we were talking about here. As
Yeah.
a matter of fact, I can extend it out just a tad more.
Extend
for
it
you.
out. Yeah, I was actually curious about that. That was because it was Burnsville right around, or Burnsville right around 8 p.m. So then if it continues, Iuka around 8:08 and Allsboro around 8:11. Where's Walnut Grove? See if you can kind of get down, make like Iuka
All right.
the first one. That should give us the rest of the town names.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Glad we
go.
caught it. All right, so there we go. So if it does, so this will be a correct track right here. Again, if it does continue, we're talking about Waterloo around 8:22, Cherokee around 8:23. If it takes more of a hard right turn, and then Walnut Grove and Savannah right around 8:29 to 8:30. And if it continues, then we're talking about Collinwood. If Walnut Grove's at about 8:29, Collinwood's probably closer to 9 o'clock. I would think that's probably 30 minutes away from Walnut Grove. Again, this is a confirmed tornado on the ground outside of our current viewing area, so we're not going to wall-to-wall severe weather coverage yet, but we are giving you a pretty significant heads up here. Again, confirmed tornado on the ground right here, right to the northeast of New Albany, and that is a very good velocity signature. It looks like, Chase, it's starting to ramp back up once again. It might have cycled a couple of times now. Is there another CC drop on this now? Maybe a little bit. I'm going to put my finger right there. That's dry. That's inflow right
But
there.
We'll be keeping a close eye on it, kind of
Yeah.
back in here over the next few scans for sure.
Yeah, unless that was an update, but that kind of goes right where that little opening is right there. So again, as far as we still know, that tornado is still on the ground there. They're saying they still have a debris ball. Not seeing a CC drop the last two scans, but they are watching the trailing storm. Let's move to the south just to a little bit. There's another supercell that's getting going to the south of this near Thaxton. This is right along U.S. Highway 278, just to the west of Pontotoc, Mississippi. What's the velocity on this? Because I've noticed that this one has pretty good rotation. Go back to reflectivity. That looks in a weird spot. Okay, that's not really. That's kind of right where you have your rear flank downdraft coming in right here. So that's your inflow. So that would be where that hook would develop. Good hail core on this. So this supercell is strengthening. So that could be a potential secondary supercell behind that first big one that actually has a tornado threat with it. Severe thunderstorm warning is in effect with this, but the Weather Service of Memphis does have a tornado possible tag on it. So let's back things out real quick, just show everybody the overview if they're just joining us. These are the cells that we've been talking about for the past several hours here, that this would possibly give us our biggest severe weather risk for the evening, because we've been watching this line continue to sag on in, but the thing is, it slowed its progression. So by the time that these supercells get up into this area, a lot of this environment ends up being untapped and unused. So there's a lot more fuel that's available for these supercells to do what they're doing right now, and that's what they're doing are producing some pretty significant tornadoes down there near the New Albany area. Chase Wilson, I'm going to toss it over to you real quick. What's your thought on some of the radar signatures that we've been seeing? Just kind of go through what you're looking at over there.
Yeah, sure thing. I certainly think that that's the strongest storm we have right now. But I've been noticing a few features out ahead of them that would kind of make or break other development. We'll take a look back in this general direction. And one of the things I noticed when we were talking about that cell behind it, if you'll notice just out ahead of it, and Taylor, you can tell me kind of if you see the same thing, a little bit of outflow there. A little bit of outflow there, and that's one of the key facets as to the strength, when and where of these cells. So we've been kind of tracking it north and east, and that's what's probably feeding this cell. It's probably riding that boundary, getting nice and a lot of vorticity in it, right? But up here towards Corinth and points west, we've noticed it's behind that, so you start to see this more elevated stuff. This stuff's definitely not severe. Lightning keeps turning off for some reason here, but even still, you're not seeing nearly as much up here behind it. So this is what we call elevated, right? Not a huge severe weather threat with these. In fact, let's take a look.
But it's giving you that flash flooding threat. That's the other thing.
Exactly, and this is training back on itself, right? So we see those storms popping up again here in Wayne County and Lawrence County. And by the way, since we haven't been talking much about no news is good news. Up here, there's not much in the way of a severe threat, but if I actually play the loop back on the radar network, you can kind of see over here from McNairy County to Hardin County, now Wayne County, northern Wayne County. They called that perfectly. That stuff's training back on itself, developing pretty much right over central Wayne County and then lifting north, so you would start to see those elevated flooding chances in northern Wayne County, through Lewis County, through Lawrence County, and of course up into Murray County. Murray County's pretty much been nonstop torrent for the last couple of hours now, so I would definitely say that up in southern Middle Tennessee right now, our main threat is flooding, but that's going to change, I think, over the next few hours, especially as those storms continue to live north and east.
Yeah, I exactly agree with that. Now, I'd be shocked. I say shocked. That's completely the wrong word. I would not be shocked, is what I should have said, to see a flash flood warning here issued soon for parts of Wayne, Lawrence, and maybe even Giles County, because what they did for the northern side is they did a preemptive flash flood warning because that line's moving through and you're going to get rainfall rates that are going to exceed flash flood guidance. So I imagine give it just a little bit more time and you'll probably have that here for more parts of Wayne and Lawrence counties. Again, like we mentioned on the flash flood side, the higher flash flood guidance, meaning how much rain you actually need before you have flash flooding, is higher here across northwestern Alabama, as it's not the case here in parts of southern Tennessee. Flash flood guidance earlier today showed that these areas from like Columbia to Hohenwald and Savannah only needed a half an inch of rain or maybe even less in order to get some flash flooding going. It's more around 2 inches, maybe 3 inches here in northwestern Alabama because you have not seen the amount of rainfall that these places have over the past several days. So your flash flood guidance is a little bit higher, but we do have that flash flood watch in effect because as these storms move through, they're going to go over the same areas multiple times, and you're going to end up having flash flooding at some point. I do see they issued a new downstream tornado warning here.
Yeah, let's check that out real quick.
Because this now includes Corinth, Mississippi, or at least the southern part of Corinth. So again, this is for that supercell that still has, is it still confirmed? Did they go confirmed on it?
They still have the considerable tag.
Okay, so they probably have it confirmed. If you want to click on the warning real quick here, Chase.
Yep.
Yeah, confirmed tornado. So new tornado warning goes until 8 p.m. here. This is right on top of Dumas, Mississippi, that's southeast of Ripley. So this will continue to track to the northeast. So this looks like it's going to end up going north of Boonesville, probably close to Renzi and close to Biggersville. This is just south of Corinth, right along US 45. So if you're in Corinth, if you're in Glenn, if you're in Burnsville, heads up. I know that warning polygon kind of goes just to the south of Corinth, but just as a heads up, this likely will be extended because this supercell shows no signs of weakening.
They actually confirm it's still a large and extremely dangerous tornado, and it has the PDS wording on the warning.
It has a PDS warning. All right, so this is a particularly dangerous situation tornado warning. This is the same type of tornado warning that they had back in across New Albany. So again, this is a particularly dangerous situation here, confirmed large and dangerous tornado on the ground here, just on top of Dumas, Mississippi, and this is going to keep moving northeast. This should go north of Boonville, but it's going to go in between Boonville and Biggersville, most likely, probably close to that Renzi area. I guess that's how it's pronounced.
Rienzi,
Mississippi. And that's going to go right along Highway 45 here. So that's probably going to be in about, I would say, 25 minutes to 30 minutes as you get close to that 45 corridor right there. Again, large and dangerous tornado on the ground. And they are going tornado warned on that trailing storm. I don't know, is that box right there?
I think this is the older box.
This is the new one right here.
Or is this? Okay,
that's new.
Here,
so hit that one. No, that's actually the old one.
Yeah, I think that's the old one that's yet to be expired there.
Okay, so they are, there's several polygons here that they need to deal with because this is becoming a cluster right here. So this polygon right here does not go with this tornado, I do believe, because they say in the warning that will pass, or it's passed near Ecru. So I imagine. Click on that. I'm just making sure real quick. Click on that polygon real quick.
I'm rolling it back here.
They haven't pulled the trigger.
They hadn't pulled the trigger on it.
Notice how
okay.
it gets issued here. There it is. Yeah, that's
the old one. All right, so they will issue a new polygon here, probably going towards this direction.
Yes.
So I would imagine Guntown, Blue Springs, Enville, probably down towards Saltillo is probably going to end up being under this new tornado warning. So again, that's for a new tornado that's developing on the back end. So we now have 2 supercells that have tornado potential with them. One of them has a very large and extremely dangerous tornado on the ground here, southeast of Ripley, moving towards the Rienzi area here in northeastern Mississippi. The second tornado that's starting to get going here is on the supercell number 2 that's down behind it, south of New Albany. This will go south of New Albany and track this way, probably going towards the north of Saltillo, and that should go towards the Boonville area. So Boonville, we're still watching this one. I think this one ends up going just north of you, but the one down to the south, that might flirt with you a little bit, but hopefully it goes south of you guys. But if not, or if it does, that means Marietta will be in the crosshairs as well. Fred, do we need to toss it back to program, or do you want to just keep staying with this?
Hold on just a second. Yeah, we can go back.
Okay.
Wait till it gets closer.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll wait for these to get a tad bit closer. But again, just know this, tornado on the ground here, near getting close to the Boonville, Mississippi area. So heads up if you live in Tishomingo County and potentially into Lauderdale County, primarily the Waterloo area, maybe close to the Cherokee area, but I think this ends up kind of going north of Cherokee eventually. So just heads up for you guys, it's probably about an hour before it gets close to that point. And then again, we're watching that new tornado warning that has been issued down to the south. That one could have more of a Cherokee track on it down the line too. So again, we'll be watching things very closely here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. For now, we're going to step aside, but once these get closer and we actually have warnings in our viewing area, we'll be back on here at a moment's notice. For Chief Meteorologist Fred Gossage, for Meteorologist Chase Wilson, I'm Meteorologist Taylor Platt. Stay with the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. We'll keep you advised.
You're watching the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.